Good morning, everyone. Ho, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you can have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with fellow eggs Matt M. and Brian Haremza, 86. We want to thank all of you for the positive feedback from last week. It was a one-hit wonder. I wonder if the three eggs are better. Yep. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. I'm getting ahead of the game. If it's your first time listening to the show, we do something called Sunny Side Up. Matt, it's not so easy, is it? It's not so easy to do this
It's
introduction.
not. I had to
I've
do it
heard
a
you do it
couple.
twice. You did a nice job. But let's go ahead and get to our good news of the week.
It's
Let's see who
harder
we
to
have.
be it's
Matt.
harder to be scripted than it is to be unscripted. That's how I feel. Sunny side up, good news. So a few weeks ago, I complained about some of my airplane experiences, right? But I neglected to include a huge positive. There's this newfangled airplane internet out there called Starlink that has been being rolled out. And on one of my flights, it had this Starlink internet. It was included, did not have to pay extra, and it was just full ass internet. Anything you want to do, texting, texting photos, email, streaming Netflix, the whole shebang. Just everybody on the plane. It was like you're on your couch at home. Obviously, pretty awesome. Maybe some, maybe some cons there. Like, remember Martin Scorsese? The only piece he ever got in the dentist chair getting a root canal. Well, there's
Yeah.
probably people out there who, the only time they can actually disconnect is on a flight for 3 or 4 hours because they know that they're inaccessible. Now, maybe we're going to take that away from them. People are going to inevitably be working on their flights now, but I like to see the positive in it. And you can stay connected if you want. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's not an option. I think if you can stay connected now, you have to. And that's
Yeah.
especially with work. They know that you could get the Wi-Fi. They know you could write it off. Like my wife, she travels about 6 times a year. She can write that off, whatever few dollars it costs for the Wi-Fi. So they want her connected, I'm
Well,
sure.
thanks for listening. I already explained that it didn't cost anything.
Gotcha. I'm
Yeah.
talking about other situations.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Also, I got myself a new desk chair. You can't see it, but the old one went kaput on me after many years of using it. Brand new chair, rolling around. Very good stuff.
That's good
Uh,
news.
That's nice.
and finally, last week I went to another banana ball contest. Now it was a banana ball game, but it was not the Savannah Bananas. It was two of the other teams in the league. Still the same rules and everything. They just didn't have the feature team. Therefore, it was not at a major league ballpark. It was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which I think it might be Brad territory.
About an hour.
Okay.
Not bad.
I'm
Yeah, not
forgetting
far.
the name
Hmm.
of the stadium right now. Oh, it's Coca-Cola Park. Interesting. Coca-Cola Park. And it is where the Phillies AAA team plays, the Iron Pigs, I believe is what they're called. Now, I know Philly and or Pennsylvania and Philly, your cheesesteaks, your peppers and onions, but it was the first time I saw with mine own eyes a chopped raw onions dispenser. You got your kiosk with your ketchup and your mustard and your barbecue sauce and your napkins and your straws and a little thing that you roll the drum like you're gonna select a bingo ball out of it, and chopped onions just come pouring out the other side. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's weird. I'll
I'm
say
not
it.
going to connect that to Philly. I think that's going out that way and changes things up a little bit. Because I remember in Western Pennsylvania having something similar to that. Now it's not Western PA, but it's not Philly. We don't have anything like that at the
Uh,
link. I promise you. You've been there.
it was weird, but it was also awesome.
I might have to think about that. I might have to ask a few more questions.
Yeah.
I understand that. And I also want to throw in on that Savannah thing. They've expanded that league to a league,
Yeah.
multiple teams, tons of
There's
teams
six
now.
teams.
And I think that is going to keep growing more and more every year. I just think the popularity is just going to keep making it grow, keep
There's six
growing.
teams.
Yeah.
I think eventually they'll get to the point where they're not selling out two, three Yankee stadiums in a row because
Hmm.
you know the vibe will have passed a little bit. But I mean, I'm certainly rooting for them. There's
Oh,
also
absolutely.
knockoff. There's also knockoff leagues.
Hmm.
There's something called Cosmic Ball or something, and there's something called Boom Ball, and they're trying to compete.
Well,
Of
it's
course.
not just the bananas. every team in that league, they're all entertainers.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
Bananas were the first to do it, I guess, in their own.
Yeah.
I've kind of read
Yeah.
up on it, and it's neat. It's very neat. They didn't come to Philadelphia this year. They've
No,
done two in a row. Like they would have two nights in a row. I don't understand what. I mean, they sell out. I was surprised.
it could have just been a scheduling thing.
Yeah, like, oh, could have been Philly had something, or maybe it
Yeah.
was the same day as the World Cup.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things that usually happen over the summer here that didn't happen because of the World Cup. Usually there's state fair for 2 weeks. Usually
Sure.
there's a Monster Jam. They just didn't do a lot of these events because of the World Cup.
Well, very good, Matt. That brings us to me. It's been a different summer. Not a lot of rain for a long time. Like June, July, pretty dry. Like come, I think 4th of July, my grass was brown. So my flowers weren't growing much this year. Do I water them? Yes. But you need the rain. Without the rain, nothing else works. And I remember speaking before about how I have a pretty green thumb and I can get anything to grow. Well, this year the flowers didn't really make it. Some did, some didn't. But now the rain has did come, and now I have green grass in August, which is unusual. But what did come out great, and I have been handing them out to everyone, are my beefsteak tomatoes. They are the best tomatoes I've ever had. I brought two into work today, two coworkers, and they ate them. Who eats them? Nobody eats them when you give it to them.
Nobody eats
My
them.
one coworker ate it at 9 o'clock this morning, and he goes, "You in there, Brad?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Delicious."
What, like an apple?
No, he cut it up, salt, pepper, and then I gave one to my boss, and I saw him eating it at lunch. That never happens. Usually, you just take the tomato home, and it probably goes bad, right?
Uh,
No, you just say, "I can't eat all these tomatoes," but
I would.
it's
You
good.
should. I hope you felt like $1,000,000 the rest of the day.
Felt pretty good. It felt pretty good. I used tomatoes last night for Taco Tuesday. I've had tomato sandwiches, tomatoes on burgers. It's been a tomato kind of year. Sunny side up.
Nice. I'm also just intrigued that somebody's just salt and pepper on a tomato, eating it like that. That's
I'm telling you, they hit different from the garden.
okay.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Bryant?
Well, I own a business.
Oh, here we
Kind
go.
of. Kind of.
Oh, boy.
So I have a friend. His name is Ryan Winters. He is starting his own, calls it Winters Mobilization. He goes out and he does brake repairs and helps on your cars, changes oil. He'll come to your house, trim trees, cut trees, work your mow, edge your yard, things of that nature. And he's trying to help get it off the ground. He's trying to do what he can to make it work. And finally, he's just realizing he needs that extra investment a little bit, help get the word out, all of this. And I mentioned how, hey, I help do some promotion and make some clips for this show. Maybe I can help you out a little bit. So I started helping him a little bit, made a couple of videos for him to put on social media, get himself out there, get some exposure, and then did a little investment in with him. Because, when he's your friend, you want to help him out as well. So I say I bought in. It's really just his business, and I just kind of help him a little bit. But in a small way, I'd like to think I help run the business. I don't, but I want to believe that. So I decided up just helping a friend get his business going, helping him get off the ground and take chances. He's already gotten some good business from the videos we have made, which I think is great and good for him.
One of these days, Bryant, you're going to be
Yeah.
a millionaire.
No, I'm not.
You have a lot of talent.
I wish.
Don't sell yourself short. People need your help.
So all I heard was he will soon be leaving 3 eggs are better than one.
Maybe? No.
No,
I got to be an egg forever. So
Egg for life.
there it is.
life.
Well, very good, guys. Bring us to hard boiled. I don't know how boiled I am, but
You say that every week.
because I'm not as angry as I used to be. Maybe the meds are kicking in. Who knows? But it's time. We're getting some election stuff up here. Not a major election this year, but you read these signs, and I have read this sign, and I don't even know what the guy's running for. I don't even know what he's running for, but I have seen this sign probably 300 times. Bob Harvey gave himself and voted for himself to have a raise. Fantastic. If I could give myself a raise and let the whole world know, I 100% would do
Heck
it.
yes.
That's supposed to be the knock on him.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
knock on him. And plus, there's some black and white commercials that are very, very disturbing as well,
Yeah.
that are in slow motion. But yes, these are everywhere. There's actually three of them in a row. I read one, I read the next one, I read all the same words. All the same words. So Bob Harvey gave himself a raise. I don't know why people
They
think that.
all do that.
Yeah, this first timer here, first time that's ever happened, huh? And I'm sure whatever raise he gave him could have saved so much in the world.
Of
You know.
course.
All right. So I've talked to you guys before about how I'm going to do some remodeling around here. Kind of stalled, interest rates are what they are. But I've gone through with the loan, like I applied for the loan for a home equity line of credit. Why does this take so long? Why does this take so long? You got my 3 years tax returns. You got my month of pay stubs. You know my credit score. You know what I make. This shouldn't be a 2 month decision. This should be something that can be done in a week.
Months?
They told me that the date this closes would be June or September 26th.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I work in the car business, and sometimes I don't have an answer in 10 minutes, and people are pissed at me.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a credit problem here, by the way. Nothing like that. So I just don't understand what goes in. I know a mortgage is different than a car,
It is.
but you telling me that this can't get done in a week or two?
Should
No
be
way.
less time. Do they have to do the whole title search and everything?
I don't know why. I own this
That
house.
shouldn't matter.
Yeah, but anytime you're refinancing on the home, then they got to start from scratch.
Are they going to come inspect my house too?
If they
They
might
will,
want to,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, they
might want
will.
So I guess I
Yeah.
got to get rid of the polar
Appraisal.
bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's real annoying to me. Just real annoying. All right, and finally, all right. I know I say I don't talk about work, but I feel like I've been doing it every week. There's a lot of texting at work, and I think I've mentioned this before. You text the customers more so. They don't always answer the phone. They don't answer their emails. You text them. You ask for permission, and then they say yes, and then you engage. And we all read them. The whole store can read these things. The AI answer to something that I present to you is obvious. Okay. I need to know the MSRP, I need an 8% discount before rebates. I need to know the residual percentage, the money factor, and any acquisition fee and all other fees, please list out below. I'm like, oh my God, you don't talk like this. Nobody talks like this. Can we just have a human conversation? We know we're talking to a computer now. You're just bringing whatever offer I give you into the computer and said, analyze it. And this is what they're coming back and they want you to say. And it's always real polite, but when I meet you in person, this ain't you. This ain't you. It doesn't work. Why is it only on the electric cars? It is bizarre. Everybody knows you're doing it. Everybody knows you're doing it. Just ask a question. Well, I mean, how much money do you think I'm making on you anyway? Come
A
on.
ton.
What?
They always think you're taking them. Always.
They don't think it with an XT5, a regular gas car. They only think it with a Cadillac Lyric for some reason. Do you do this, Matt?
I'm not sure I even know what you're getting at.
I send the numbers. They put it into ChatGPT and say analyze it, and this is what ChatGPT tells them to say, and it's really completely obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I use ChatGPT and things like that when necessary, but I always make sure I understand what
And that's what I'm talking about.
being said.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
They just give whatever I give them next back in the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
They're not reading it.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
And they're not asking me questions.
No, of course not.
Yeah, we're at the beginning of a long stretch of a lot of everybody wasting their time and energy because of AI.
Mhm.
When the whole pitch is that it's supposed to save everybody time and energy.
You know what I think? I think everybody listened to the show a few weeks ago and saw what you did with the playlist, and now they've jumped on board.
See, I thought that was neat.
It was neat, and I've told
It was neat. That's why they want to do it.
I've told that story several times.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That brings us to brown eggs, Bryant. Less talked about moments, and I know you love this.
I do. I do enjoy this. And, normally I'll talk about a sporting event, a game of some sort, but I'm going to be different today. We're going to talk a little history. And we're going to talk a little Northeast history. We're going to go back to 1919. Have you guys heard of the Great Molasses Flood?
Yes.
Yes, I spoke about it on this show.
I don't remember this. You did?
Yes.
I don't remember covering this at all.
Boston?
It is, yes. My God, we've gotten to the point where I'm
Ye-
covering the same topics again.
yes.
Well,
Well,
don't worry.
we've been calling out on that for about a month now.
Yeah, we have been. Yeah. This is how we do things here. Well, good thing I have two topics, right? Because that's
Good
how this
thing.
works for Bryant, too. Because he always has backup
You're
plans.
gonna have to from here on out.
Apparently, that's what I have to do now.
Boy, we're off to a great start.
This is I want to say this
We're
is
like
the
four
show.
categories in. Start.
I want to say this is the show, but I can't because I have nothing here. So, we're going to talk about dinosaurs. How about that? We talked about
We
dinosaurs
talked
a few
about
weeks
that.
ago. No, this is different though, I promise you. So, we're going to go back to you can actually there is we all know Sotheby's is an auction site in New York. They sell tons of memorabilia, things of this nature. What I didn't realize is that you can, with these auctions, buy dinosaurs. Did you guys know this?
No.
So back in 2015 or 2025, I apologize. Let me get my years correct here. A dinosaur was discovered and sold at auction at Sotheby's. So the dinosaur in question, its name is, they named it Gus for some reason. And with this, they have decided that so the auction happens and you can bid and they set a time, you bid on it, things of this nature. And I didn't realize that there's actually been going on for years. You can actually bid, win dinosaur bones, collect them for yourselves. You don't have to send them to memorabilia places. The reason this is less talked about is because the price on this dinosaur that you won, the winning bid, was $50 million.
Hmm.
No surprise.
I am. It's like, what are you going to do with a dinosaur? Is my question. Because do you sell it to a museum? Do you keep it for yourself? You own a dinosaur at this point. But it is also the record for the highest bid dinosaur fossil or dinosaur fossil sold ever, which I still find amazing because the second highest bid was again by a private collector for $45 million. Not a museum, not archaeologists, whatever these people who collect these or search for these people, just normal people like us, except they're essentially billionaires. But normal people can go to Sotheby's, buy dinosaurs, and keep them for themselves.
Yeah, collecting in general. Yes, these are these price tags out there to collect things that it doesn't even, I don't even understand why. The why
Mhm.
is what I mean. Why the why I just don't understand. Like like you said, what are you going to do with this stuff?
Yeah.
I looked at an autograph book recently and I was like, why would I have that for that kind of money?
Right.
For this kind of money, yes. For that kind of money, no. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Collecting is a strange thing to me. Like when you're at that level, even if if you have $1 billion, $50 million is still a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it would be. Yeah. I mean, you
It's
would
like
think
if
so.
you think
I
about
feel
the
like that's not chump
percentage of
change.
it,
Yeah.
it's 1/20th, right, of what you have.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot to me. And
Well,
is it really an investment? Are you going to sell it again?
and that's the thing. And that's the question. So the dinosaur in question, the skeleton, it's 12 and a half feet tall. The skull alone is like 54 inches wide or 54 inches long on it. There's 183 fossils total, or 100, yeah, elements with it, skeletal system. 61% completed, by the way. They don't have the full skeleton with it. But you still paid $50 million.
No wonder why it was so cheap.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If it was the full skeleton, it would probably gone for more.
That was in the what's that section in the store where it's like
Clearance
the
section.
clearance and the damage stuff.
But it's like Brad said, I get you want to we all love dinosaurs when we were kids, of course. What do you do with it? Are you going to display it in your home? Like, what do you? I don't understand
Well,
this. And again, record.
for those like uber rich people, it's just something they want to have, right? Like
Mhm.
a lot of these rich people want something and they'll do anything they can to get it, I think.
Yeah,
I don't really think like that, but they do.
yeah.
Didn't like one of you is going to know this. Doesn't Vince McMahon or Triple H have like a
Vince
dinosaur
had
skeleton?
a skull sat
Yeah.
behind his desk. Yeah, Vince
Yeah.
did. Because I
Yeah.
mean, now granted, if you
There
have
you
like
go.
again,
Mega rich person.
you
Mega
have
rich megalomaniac.
exactly, but putting the skull on display, sure, okay, I could get behind that, but a whole dinosaur?
Yeah. She's like, put it outside for like
That's your decoration.
decorated for
Next
Christmas.
to that, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Keep it there all year.
you
Oh
would
yeah,
be able to.
right. It's a
Yeah,
Christmas tree and it's a jack-o'-lantern and
Yeah.
you'd be able to give
Man, I hate that.
the best directions to your house.
I am hard boiled about those stupid skeletons that are out all year. Put the freaking skeletons away. Enough already.
Yeah.
directly across the street from my son's school, the closest house has one of those like enormously tall skeletons,
Yeah.
like 12 or 15 feet. It's there the entire year and they
Yeah.
change the outfit all the time.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Just across the street from me, the same guy doesn't take his Christmas lights down, has that skeleton.
It's a
Sounds right.
strange thing to have up all year.
It's a strange thing for the decor of your house.
It,
You're just
it's
gonna have a skeleton all year?
it's a
Yeah.
strange thing. To me, you know what? You know what? And this is I don't know who's gonna agree with me, but I don't like when people leave decorations up because things are only special because they come and go. If it's there the whole time, it's not special anymore.
Correct. Well, I'm glad we're all finally on the same page.
Exactly.
And that's
Yes.
our show.
And that's the show.
All right.
Is that
Well,
all you had,
you
Brian?
saved it. Thank
Yeah.
God.
You know,
Did dinosaurs all get fossilized in the
yeah,
molasses flood?
they should have. I don't know. But at this point, I've now learned stick to sports. Back to you, Brad.
All right, good, very good, Brian. Always good to have a backup. Which brings us to Inspired Egg, which is things or people that have inspired us. So, Matt,
This was a little tough for me, not because I'm not inspired by people and things, but I don't know. Maybe we've just talked about this a lot already in some way, shape, or form, so I feel a little repetitive. But for now, I'm going with Kevin Smith. He's from New Jersey. He's a regular guy, hardworking guy. Kind of, put his ass on the line with to make Clerks, which is a well documented situation from many years ago, and he turned it into a film career. And self-admittedly, he's not the most talented guy in the world, certainly not directing wise. Okay, he's written a lot of funny, memorable stuff that's stuck with pop culture and created Jay and Silent Bob. But he's always had to fight for funding. He's always had to fight for distribution. Has had a variety of podcasts, has a career doing traveling and speaking engagements and Q&As. He's worked on animated TV shows. Of course, he's got his main film career. He's a hustler, right? And I respect that a lot. And I love that he's from New Jersey. And I was in my adolescence when he's putting out these movies that have meant something to me. And he's always unapologetically himself. He's not the most Hollywood type of guy. He'll do what he wants to. He likes working with his friends. I mean, he inspired me to try to write a screenplay when I was in high school, which I did. And it's still sitting there waiting for me to take another pass at it one day because it was kind of like a collection of, jokes and experiences from me growing up, which is, what you're supposed to write about. So I was inspired by him to do that. When
too
I
bad you
went,
didn't have any time to do that recently.
I just haven't. Um, So, I went to college at Seton Hall University in New Jersey, and it was like the second night we were there, like hanging out, like getting to know the dudes and stuff, hanging out. And we were watching Clerks, and
Mhm.
in like the first scene of the movie, they're talking about going to college in New Jersey, and the guy goes, "Hey, are you still going to Seton Hall?" Which was like, "Ah, that's funny. Here we are, just starting out at Seton Hall."
Hmm.
And he bought a an old movie theater in New Jersey that is somebody manages for him, but he always makes appearances there. He tries to drum up an audience. He'll have movie marathons. He'll show his own movies and he'll do like Q&A. He's always very engaged with his fan base. And guess what he's doing coming up? He's doing a watch along with one of the voice actors from Coyote versus Acme. So it's like you buy the ticket, you watch the movie, and then you get to chat with Kevin Smith and this voice actor after the movie. He does that sort of thing all the time. I just admire the effort, and of course, I like his body of work and the New Jersey thing, and it's he has officially inspired me.
I like Kevin Smith. I'm not from New Jersey, but I live near there now, and I liked all his movies. It's good stuff, and I do like that, revamping a movie theater, and that stuff doesn't exist much anymore. Stuff's going away. He's not making money from it, I'm sure. He just wants to have something, or not a lot of money if he is, just
Yeah,
have
I
something,
can't imagine it's making a lot of money.
yeah, just something cool, right?
Yeah.
There's something cool that he likes.
Exactly, exactly. He's unapologetically himself.
Yeah, very good. You have anything, Brian? I'm sorry.
No, I was to say, I just, hearing his story again, it's just always just, it's nice to hear. And then, like you said, he's done so many good, the movies, the career. It's just great to see.
Yeah. So, inspired egg for me. This could also be considered like who's over with me, but it's also inspiring for me. Let me talk about why. Who's inspiring me right now are the management of the four major Philadelphia sports teams. Let me tell you why. The Flyers have shored up their entire young talent this year. They made sure that what they did last year, they kept, and they're going to keep moving forward in a positive direction. We know the Sixers have got LeBron James and Jaylen Brown. The Phillies, who are still floundering a little bit, did sign Luis Ariz, who is probably the best hitter in baseball, pure hitter. And the Eagles got rid of A.J. Brown, but signed Hollywood Brown, and then totally took over the Pittsburgh Steelers pick, stole the phone and said, sorry, even though you're talking to the Steelers, we're taking you, and we just traded up. And I'm going to say this. Why am I saying this? Because they're trying to win, and they're trying to win right now. Will they be successful? I don't know. But they are trying to win today. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're trying to win today. And that inspires me to do the same thing. I'm trying to make the sale today. I'm trying to do the right thing today. Don't think too far into the future. Set your goals for today. Do it today. And they have inspired me to do that. And it's nice to have four teams that are trying to win when you have other teams that are selling off and not trying to win. A good example is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I'm not picking on Bober for this. I'm from Pittsburgh. They've always put time and money into their football team and their hockey team. And guess what? All these teams still make money whether they win or not. It's the wanting to win that's important. The Pirates haven't won to win for 40 years. They don't care. Maybe they do a little bit more now, but trying to win today inspires me to try to be better today. So that's all.
Nice.
Makes a lot of sense.
What do you
But
got, Bryant?
also fuck those teams.
I know.
Of course, yes. Um, Mine is going to be, of course, it's going to be someone that we all know here as a fellow eggs. I'm going to talk about Rebel. Rebel, who is currently battling ALS. She's actually been helping bring, I don't know if it's bring back or if it went away, the Ice Bucket Challenge. We've been seeing that kind of everywhere. But Rebel came out and announced that, she has been fighting ALS. She's a person from the wrestling world, was a cheerleader in the NFL, came to professional wrestling, and she's someone that we all met through our pro wrestling podcasting world with ad free shows. She had Rebels Happy Hour, which was some really fun times, if I can say so. We had a lot of fun chatting with her and meeting her, interacting with her at the live events that they had, and part of the thing that like we said, ad free shows brought us together, but it also got us into introduction to Rebel, meeting her, talking to her, and now seeing her fight ALS, because she's wanting to go to fight and try to overcome and work through this, and to see the work that she's putting in, the effort she is to fight this, and it's just great to see. It's inspiring to us, and I just think she deserves a ton of credit for not wanting to just. Some people hear this and just kind of go away with it, and she's pushing through, she's fighting, and I think that's amazing and inspiring to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor
Yeah.
Rebel.
Yeah. There's getting a lot of awareness out there again, and it's hard to believe. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of speechless about it. So
Real name Tania Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique name.
Yes. I figured you'd go for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I get, she's got to fight through it, and it's very brave to want to be a public face of it, because it's not pretty.
Right.
But it's, it does good for others.
Well, very good, Bryant. Which brings us to the omelet. Spelled it
Yeah.
really wrong this week for you guys on
Yes.
purpose.
Yep.
Um, Matt, why don't you tell them everybody what it's all about?
Omelet. OMLIT is what he went with this week.
Yep.
Son of a bitch. So no connection to one-hit wonders last week, just a coincidence that I'm going to be talking about volume two. So just for clarity, I'm going to talk about, and this is mostly music here, and it's not even representative of necessarily my music collection, like when we talked about the one-hit wonders, but it's a lot of times when a musical act puts out an album and they call it volume one or part one. And I guess at the time they had every intention of there being some sort of matching follow-up, and it just didn't happen. And for the type of brain that I have, that doesn't really work too well for me. An open-ended thing like that, like what happened? And there isn't always an explanation. So here's a little list I compiled. I'm going to go through this and then see if you guys have anything. So in 1990, George Michael released Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1. There was never a Volume 2. That was it. Canceled. I don't know why. Do you know why, Brad?
No.
No. How about the Black Eyed Peas? Masters of the Sun, Volume 1, 2018. Not that long ago. The first album without Fergie. Well, 2 years later, they put out another album called Translation. No Masters of the Sun Volume 2. Amy Lee, big fan of her, right? From Evanescence. She's done some solo work. She put out an EP of cover songs called Recover, Volume 1. EP meaning extended play, smaller size collection. 10 years ago. Haven't seen the second one. I mean, she's still out there, maybe one day, but it's just lingering out there. Why did you call it? Why did you call it Volume 1? Fits in the Tantrums. I don't even know this band. I just know that they exist. They had an EP. I think it might have been their initial offering in 2009. Songs for a Breakup, Volume 1. That was it. They broke that idea broke up. There was no Volume 2. This one I was a big fan of. Limp Bizkit, The Unquestionable Truth, Part. Another EP. We got a pattern here. 2005. This was actually an album that people really liked. It was like 5 or 6 songs. It was pretty heavy. Felt like old Limp Bizkit. Oh man, that's great. There's going to be a part two. No part two. Brad, I don't know if you're at all interested in this. This is one of
Not that I'm
the
not interested. I just didn't understand the topic.
one. I tried very hard to
Yeah,
explain it to
and
you.
you poorly
I don't
explained it
think
to us
so.
as you started taking away ideas from us.
I
It's
think
not
that
that
I
I'm
think
bored. It's not that I'm bored with it. It's just I worked harder on this topic than I have on anything since I've been on the show, and I'm gonna tell you, I got very little, and it's probably all wrong.
this is I very much
Probably.
explained when there was a volume one and expected volume two, and it never came.
We'll see what our listener thinks.
Okay,
Mhm.
our listener. I'm gonna keep going here. White Zombie, La Sexorcisto, Devil Music, Volume 1, 1992. Flow Rider, or as I like to call him, Flow Rider. Only One Flow, Part 1 in 2010, followed by Wild Ones in 2012. Here's a one, Michael Jackson, History, with a capital H-I-S. History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. Came out in 1995. It was actually 2 discs. History Begins, which was Greatest Hits, and History Continues, which was an original album. But there was no book 2. This one, I'm enjoying this one. Marilyn Manson, One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1, 2024. Guess what? One Assassination Under God, Chapter 2 comes out August 14th, 2026. So unless they cancel it in the next 48 hours, this actually will have a matching part 2. Thank you, Marilyn Manson. Now, this happens a lot with greatest hits. The Clash. The Story of the Clash, Volume 1, 1998. That was the end of it. Jay-Z, The Hits Collection, Volume 1 in 2010. Well, his career and life aren't over. I suppose we could still get more, but that was 16 years ago. And this is a very well-known one. The Best of Van Halen, Volume 1, 1996. That was all they gave us. Okay, this has definitely been one of the more self-indulgent topics that I've ever presented, but I really enjoyed putting this together. Before I go back to the rest of it, Brad, what do you got for us? Let's see.
It's wrong. Whatever it is, it's wrong.
It's still so we've been wrong before.
All right. So we've heard of Game of Thrones, right? Well, Game of Thrones comes from the Songs of Fire and Ice by R.R.,
George R. Martin.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he's supposed to put a book out for like 20 years.
yeah. So in 2011, geez, oh man, Dances with Dragons came out. All right. And that was the last book that he wrote. We're still waiting for The Winds of Winter. That is still planned, but it is never going to happen. And now Game of Thrones stopped going off the books well, obviously the show's long over. They stopped going off the books and went off on their own direction. So to me, that wasn't exactly a volume 1. It might have been a volume 5, but there was definitely planned volume 6.
I think you're pretty adjacent there.
Yeah. Well, wait till you hear this one. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Garfield. All right.
Yeah.
There was a planned Spider-Man 3 that actually had a date that it was going to come out June 10th, 2016. They actually had a date for it. They had it planned. They started everything, and then they decided to not make the movie because of they said it did not do well at the box office and the poor reviews. Well, it made $717 million. So I'm not sure how poor that is, considering the first one made about the same one. But those are the two that I had because it was planned to make.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, there's a discussion there. Proposed movies that don't come to fruition is extremely common. So I mean, we could talk about that forever and ever, right?
Mhm.
Unrealized film projects. The music's a little different because it's still the same band putting out the music that they created. They just abandoned their own idea of continuing an original project and went to a different project instead. That's different than it's not like Andrew Garfield and the entire cast and crew made a different movie instead. They all just didn't do that one. But I think he did pretty good, and there's no way your face should read with that much anger.
I did not do good.
Yes, you did.
I did not do good.
All right. Well, you probably did better than Bryant. What do you
I
got?
don't think so.
Oh no, I guarantee you did. I failed miserably because because I was going along the television premise lines of shows that were, hey, we could do another season, but didn't.
We weren't allowed to do that. We were
But then
still
we
not
were-
allowed to do
But
that.
then we weren't allowed to do that.
I very specifically said that was not.
We know. We've already started doing it, though,
We've
until
already-
you said we can't do
Yeah.
it.
Because
So I had that.
because again, wanting another season of a TV show that didn't happen is so incredibly common. It's if they announced it and then it didn't happen. That's
You had
great.
an idea in your head, and that's it.
Okay, Brian.
Because then I went back to kind of like Brad. I went to movies where it was planned movie. Like it was, hey, we set this up for a movie, and then we just didn't deliver the movie.
That
for
happens
example-
every day.
Yeah, I know, but that's again why I got confused as well, because I think of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That had a movie, was supposed to have another movie, and we didn't have it. Didn't set it. You had it, you didn't go for it. I had also thought of because you also have the Golden Compass, another thing, planned book. It's a books. You move it into movies. You don't do the rest of the books. I went along those lines, but now I feel like I completely butchered all of this completely. So
I don't think so. Hey, you were just reminded me. Remember there was that book series, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
yeah, because they did that and the girl with the spider web.
Well, didn't they just do the one with Rooney Mara, and then they ended up not doing the other ones?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's similar.
So because I was trying to go off the book premise of hey, here's the book, here's the series of books,
yeah,
and then we don't go, and then we just make the one movie and then we stop.
I mean, unrealized films are endless. I mean, there could be an entire podcast series about it. one day when we're done with Roseanne.
That's our spinoff from Roseanne.
Brad, just have a drink or something. Take a
I just
puff.
had some grapefruit juice. That was nice.
Take a puff. All right, let me go back. Thank you for your contributions. Now, it's not always a volume one and then no volume two. Because the Beastie Boys in 2011 released Hot Sauce Committee Part 2. There was never a Part 1. I have no explanation to this. So, unfortunately, we do know that MCA got ill and passed away, I believe, in 2012. And that was always cited as the reason why they didn't complete what they were working on. But you put out Part 2 and not Part 1. I don't get the connection there. That's odd to me. Like, did they think they were going to put out Part 1 and they didn't? I have no explanation. All right. Brad, you might remember the Traveling Wilburys. It was a supergroup that included Tom Petty, Bob Dylan,
Yes.
George Harrison, and Jeff Lynne.
Yes.
So they put out a couple of albums. Traveling Wilburys was their initial offering. And then their second album, Ha Ha Ha, was called Traveling Wilburys Volume 3. Very funny, guys. Very funny. And you know what? They're not the only ones to make this joke. There's a rock supergroup called Chickenfoot that was around in the 2000s. It was Sammy Hagar and Joe Satriani. And their first album was called Chickenfoot. And their second album was called, guess what? Chickenfoot 3. Ha ha ha. Very funny, guys. Very funny. And at the end of this Volume 3 group, one of my favorite bands, their debut album from 1998, Humphreys McGee, is called Greatest Hits Volume 3. Ha ha ha. Very funny, guys. Now, here's my favorite one in this whole collection here. Incubus, a band that I love, I've mentioned many times. In 2015, they put out an EP, couple songs, and it was called Trust Fall Side A. And a couple years went by, and then they put out their next full-length album, and it was their 8th one, and the title of the album was 8. 3 years after that, they come back. Trust Fall Side B. They put a Trust Fall sandwich around a full album. I applaud them. They have connected it's like Marty connecting the outlet, the plugs on top of the clock tower, restoring everything. And it's called Trust Fall too, which I think is ironic because we know what a trust fall is. You just had to have faith. They came back around and they finished it. Side A, side B. Applause to them. And I'll finish with this. These are some random things. There's this other band called Third Secret, and their first album was called Third Secret, and their second album was called The Second Third Secret. Who remembers the 1993 Lethal Weapon parody? It was called National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. They called it number 1. And of course there was no follow-up.
That's good.
There was no out of everything I said in the last 15 minutes, Brad's like, that's good.
I like that one.
There was no iPhone 9 and there was no Windows 9. And you guys could definitely explain this better than me, but I do know that in the NCAA, the Big Ten has more than 10 teams in
I
it.
think it's 17. Is that right, Brian, you think? 17?
That's 16. It's 16 teams, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it was like the Big 12 has 16 teams.
Yeah. I don't see that. I don't know these things. Again, you guys could.
They just kept adding after it was 10.
Well, thank you. A little trip inside Madam's head.
You see, I went movies and TV. I realized this whole category should have just been about music.
Well,
and I didn't even think
because I mean, I've been.
You didn't say that.
I've been trying to explain why I think that's so unique. Because it's like if we said, hey guys, we're gonna do a 2-part episode about Roseanne, and then we did the first part and just didn't fucking do the second part.
Coming soon.
Well, very good, Matt.
Was it?
Which brings us to Robin's eggs, which is me this week, and it's sidekicks or side quests. So what did I go with? Clifford Clavin. Anybody know who he is?
Cheers.
Yes, one of the most iconic characters on the sitcom Cheers, portrayed by John Ratzenberger. Cliff appeared throughout the run of as Cliff Clavin on television series Cheers, and later made memorable appearances in Frasier. Ratzenberger actually helped create the character during the audition by suggesting every neighborhood bar needed a resident know-it-all. The producers loved it, and they gave it a shot. So Cliff was a postal worker, all right? And he would come to Cheers every day after work. He believes he knows everything. Quotes like, "Here's a little known fact." Loves trivia, extremely awkward, nervous around women to say the least. His best relationship, of course, was with his mother, who he lived with for almost the entirety of the series. Fiercely loyal to his friends, extremely patriotic, easily embarrassed, and surprisingly kind-hearted underneath his arrogance. Again, little known fact. But what makes this a Robin's egg? Well, his best friend is Norm Peterson. Norm Peterson, a fixture at the Cheers bar, would also after work every day if he was actually working. And he was, by default after a while, Cliff's best friend. Cliff got made fun of by mostly everybody at the bar. He got made fun of by Sam Malone. Got made fun of by Carla Tortelli, almost tortured by Carla Tortelli. And most of the guys around the bar gave him a really hard time. Why? Because he was a virgin, I think, until he was like 58 years old. Just also pretended to know everything. And as much as Norm would get annoyed by this, he never made fun of him. Maybe he would give him a little attitude to him, but never made fun of him with the group. And he was Cliff's best friend. What also makes him a sidekick is that you could have Norm Peterson without Cliff Clavin, but can you have Cliff Clavin without Norm Peterson? And I'm going to go with no. I think that character only works because Norm is there. That character by itself would have probably only lasted the one season that he actually was only in it for a limited amount of time. He was a guest the first season. He wasn't in every episode. And the relationship grew with him and Norm. At least they saw the connection there and they made it happen. So Cliff Clavin, my side kick.
Nicely done.
Nice.
Nicely done. Cheers is a show that my parents liked when I was younger. I was a little on the young side for it. It's like a precursor to Seinfeld almost. I always thought it was kind of funny. And there's definitely some iconic characters in there. You mentioned two of them. Woody, I would say, and Sam even. I feel like I would be scared to watch it right now. I just don't know if it would be funny.
I find it very funny, but I don't know if that's because I remember it fondly, but it was very funny humor at the time. Like it wasn't stupid. It wasn't stupid humor.
Yeah.
It was smarter comedy.
Yeah, they were smart. There was a lot of smart asses on the show.
It's
Yeah.
not like Three's Company. Okay. Now, like Three's Company, that really doesn't hold up. You know what I mean? I think Cheers holds up, but I get it. It's from the 70s through the 80s and maybe the first part of the 90s.
70s.
I think 79 is when it started.
I thought it was just all 80s.
I think it started in 79. You can fact check me, Bober. But I believe it ended.
I would say early 80s to early 90s was the.
I actually think it had 1 year where it was on at the same time as Seinfeld.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
No,
at least 1 year, probably several actually.
So, but anyway, I love the show.
You're a good sidekick, and what you said about you could have Norm without Cliff, but you could not have Cliff without Norm.
Right. It was 1982. You're correct.
See, and I'm glad you kept talking because the moment you said Norm, I thought we were all going to hop in with Norm. But,
oh, yeah. Why didn't we do that? But it wasn't supposed to be about Norm. It was supposed to be about Cliff.
It wasn't, but I was getting ready. You said it. And I was getting ready, and I was like,
Cliff.
We could have done that. Yeah.
Here's a little known fact: egg salad.
What is egg salad?
What is egg salad? It's just what is egg salad?
Random news.
There it is. Random news. So that brings us to Matt.
Oh boy. Did you know, and this as we record this today, did you know that there was an online conspiracy theory that at 10:33 a.m. Eastern today, Earth's gravity was going to disappear for 7 seconds. The origin of this is in December last year, there was an AI written Instagram post from some, stupid BS account that got a little bit of traction with people, whether they were goofing around or not. And it was reshared and, it was making the rounds enough for people to be like, oh, is this something I should be worried about? And the story was, and I love the details of the story. Supposedly, NASA had an $89 billion budget and a top secret plan called Project Anchor, where they were going to somehow premeditated solve this lack of gravity problem. And if there was no gravity, by the way, we would all anything that wasn't nailed down could potentially float up to 65 feet in the air and then come crashing down. And you could imagine the chaos that would cause. Now, why is this random news or why is this interesting at all? Apparently, it made so much noise that NASA actually had to publish an official statement saying, attention world, Earth's gravity is not going to disappear. It is determined by the mass of the Earth, which isn't going to be changing, and this isn't going to happen.
Unreal.
So that was at 10:33. So I didn't lose gravity this morning, so I guess we're good.
Yeah, I don't remember losing
Yeah,
gravity either.
I
I
didn't
don't think I
lose
was
gravity
feeling
at all.
great, but
I mean, I was in a car most of the day, so maybe I swerved a little bit. I don't know.
I was in the building, but I might have been out of the building at 10:33. I might have been walking around the lot. Oh
Ye-
boy.
I know where you were. You were actually on cloud nine because of all those tomato compliments.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, very good, Matt. Mine happened about a week ago. Sanitation workers in Bitato, Italy, successfully recovered an intact 1 million euro lottery ticket, million day lottery ticket, after sifting through 6 metric tons of garbage. The player had discarded the ticket after a misinterpretation. So let me just set this up for you. The anonymous player checked her usual number combination, 2, 4, 8, 10, and 51, at the local shop, panicked at the terminal's payout warning, and left the ticket behind where it was thrown in the garbage. So it said no payout. After a relative realized the numbers won, the family contacted the local waste management agency, SANB, whose director, Robert Nicola Toscano, tracked down the specific collection truck before its contents reached the landfill. Transported to a specialized sorting site near Bari, crew members manually combed through mountains of refuse over 2 days and found the ticket safe inside a ton of garbage bag at around 5:30 a.m. and returned it to the owner.
How much money was it?
€1 million.
What is that?
1.5 million US dollars.
Thank you.
I mean, I hope he gave up some money to those trash workers. Jesus.
I think my favorite part of the story is the honesty here.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
these
found
guys,
it.
yeah, we found it. There's nobody's name on this thing.
Yeah.
It's you sign it, you turn it in. Doesn't matter. It's last
Yeah.
one had 9/10 of the law, right?
I get. There'll be a lawsuit. It'll be held up forever in court.
Yeah, there's always gonna be something that happens with that.
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Good for Italy.
Surprised I didn't hear that.
So, which brings us to you, Bryant. This better be good.
Dude,
To me, it's more.
you've been at an 0-2
pressure.
count. You've been at an 0-2 count all night.
Yeah, to me, this is more comical, I guess. I don't know. We're going to Austria. We'll go overseas, much like Brad did. In Austria, there is a famous musician composer by the name of Mozart. And there is a Mozart Foundation that has decided to unveil statues, gold statues of Mozart around town and around this village where he lives. And they unveiled 320 statues of Mozart. I think that's excessive, but I don't know. What makes this so compelling is not that they've unveiled all of these statues. To date, and this story is from last week, 210 have been stolen. People are going around and stealing these statues. They have no leads, no understanding. The statues were taken, and people have been and then each statue is being taken and presumably for keep pleasure selling somewhere. They have actually already found two in the process of people trying to sell them on the market. I don't know what kind of market they're selling them on, or who would want a statue of Mozart outside of his home country. I don't know. But to have 210 statues stolen in, I'm going to say broad daylight. I don't know. But the best part of the story is the foundation, upon seeing the statues being stolen, have decided to pursue the people and get the statues back, but are also in the process of just replacing them as well. So they're being stolen, and now the foundation's like, well, we could get them back and replace them at the same time to have a backup. Because in their mind, as the director said, if people want the statues, we can find a way to help monetize and sell them so that people can have statues of their own. To know that they're just willing to give more money to make more statues is great. But yeah, if people want them, just sell them. Why not?
Did you say how big they are or heavy?
So I did not. So the statues are, it's about 20, 20 inches high are the statues. So they're already small statues
Yeah, that's not
anyway.
that big.
Well, not
So
that.
yeah, not
Oh, it's
that.
40 inches.
It's like,
Yeah. So, but yeah, and basically, so they don't give a weight on any of these, but like they just say like 20 inches for the statue. So
and
like
they're
they're
made of
small
gold.
statues, and they're made of gold, which I'm sure
There
is
you
why
have
they're so
it.
small. So,
Is it
Weight
gold or
but
gold
depends.
substance?
Yeah,
no,
depends
they're
on what
made of
the
pure gold.
Well,
So,
that's why they're stealing them, right?
yeah, which is why they're stealing it, in my opinion. But to
Wait
the
a minute.
foundation, they think it's people who are fans of
They're
Mozart,
made of
and that's
pure
why they
gold.
now want to make the statues for people to
There's
sell.
no way. There's no way they're made of pure gold. I'm thinking they're made of stone or marble
No,
or granite.
nope.
20 inches of gold. No way. No,
I
come
wonder why
on.
they're stealing them.
Yeah, that's why you steal it. But
My God.
Oh boy, this episode,
yeah,
huh? Well, very
Oh
good, Bryant.
boy.
All right, Matt. Why don't you go ahead and hit us with the
Yeah.
socials?
Wow. We are volume 3 is better than volume 1. And we are cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at 3 eggs are better than 1. The number 3, the letter R, the number 1. Like, subscribe, and comment. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at 3 eggs are better. The number 3, the letter R. And our individual accounts at Yes Man Brad, at B Hiremza, and I am at Purple Shirt Guy Without the Eye. I do think we mentioned Bober more than once. Brian, I think you're in charge of next week.
No,
I'm
me.
not.
Brad, I think we're in charge of next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something a little different next week. You guys have heard of Dark Side of the Ring, which is the behind the scenes of the dark side of wrestling, the stuff behind the scenes. I'm gonna do the dark side of some baseball players. I'm gonna give you some stories about some baseball players that were great ball players, but weren't exactly very nice. And they're gonna be quick hitters probably, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do next week. So Dark Side of Baseball player.
All right.
Nice.
All right, Bryant, take us home.
We thank you guys for joining us this week. We've had some laughs at, of course, my expense as well. But I want to say this is the show. I don't know.
Oh
We'll see
no.
if I can do better next week for sure. The egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.